This is the email that I didn't send this week. It's the one I wrote but didn't send, so as to not add anxiety to an already anxious system. This is the email that a veteran who survived a period of homelessness by living in his car in a church parking lot said was a sermon in a letter in the tradition of most of the New Testament. Dear neighbor, what exactly is your concern? As I've read and reread your email, it seems that your concern is about being confronted with visible poverty. Maybe it's about your safety. Maybe it's about your property values. You're right that this is a situation that arises periodically. The last time you and I spoke in the summer of 2020 was an entirely different situation. The couple who lived in their car then were in a much more precarious situation. The man currently living in his car in the parking lot works, and he doesn't leave a mess. He has been coming and going for a while because he comes and goes to work building fences. I'm sure if you talked to the man, you'll find out that when he's parked here, he's trying to sleep and trying to survive. Has he made any advances toward your home? Approached you or your other friends? Interacted with you aggressively or in a way different from your housed neighbor next door? Or are you scared because someone lives across the street from you in a car, not a house? In a house where they could even more surreptitiously watch you all day and night, as you seem concerned our neighbor is doing. I absolutely understand the disruption of headlights at 3 a.m. I will ask him to park facing the fence so that the light doesn't shine in anyone's home. He's at work right now, but if you see him before I do, you're welcome to go meet him and let him know your concerns yourself. Unlike some of our housed neighbors, he's actually a pretty good neighbor. He doesn't leave his vehicle unattended in our lot, nor does he drive laps in our parking lot, kicking up gravel and creating potholes that we will be repairing as part of a capital campaign. He doesn't cut through our parking lot to avoid the stop sign at 152nd. He didn't smoke under our play structure in the hottest part of a hot, dry summer, fail to stub out his cigarette, and burn down the play structure that we'll also be replacing in that same capital campaign. You say that this is an invasion of privacy, but truly this is no different than a house spouse living across the street from you. He's just in a car. I'm sorry that having to confront visible poverty makes you feel unsafe, but you haven't referenced anything that would trigger that feeling. Again, has he made advances toward your home or acted aggressively? Friend, can you tell me what makes you feel unsafe? Also, could you elaborate on what's unfair? Is it unfair that we are using our property as we understand Jesus and the teachings of the church to use it? In Romans 12:13, Paul writes, "Contribute to the needs of the saints. Extend hospitality to strangers." This continues a theme prevalent in the Hebrew Scriptures as well. A large or an organized encampment of unhoused people in tents on the property will not develop. Fear not. I have been here all day on October 26th and have not seen our neighbor in the green Subaru, nor anyone else living beside him. It's very possible that he was getting a visitor, just as you do. Until such a time as housing is recognized as a human right, the housing supply increases and more affordable housing becomes available, we will continue to show hospitality to those who need somewhere safe to park, even with regularity. Hospitality to those who use our little free pantry and sock box. Hospitality to those who stop to eat their lunch as they visit homebound seniors. Hospitality to mail carriers doing mail transfers. And hospitality to people who park here to visit Fairbank Farm. What do you understand the church's responsibility to be as stewards of property? To whom is that responsibility? The gospel text appointed for this Sunday, October 29th, includes Jesus saying, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." As a minister of Christ's gospel, I'm called to not be partial to the poor or defer to the great. As Episcopalians, we have vowed to seek and serve Christ in all persons, loving our neighbors as ourselves, and to strive for justice and peace among all people, and respect the dignity of every human being. You've asked us to do something before this becomes a problem, but I need you to define what that means. As I read your email, one person living in a car in our parking lot, not actually bothering anyone, is already a problem for you. Church leadership has discussed temporarily hosting an organized homeless encampment as a part of our call and vocation, but the logistics didn't work out. I live on Capitol Hill in Seattle and encounter unhoused and people with unstable housing on every trip to the grocery store. I try to teach my children to respect their dignity, to pray for them, and to pray for systems that allow this to continue, and to pray that we would have strength to change those systems ourselves. I encounter unhoused people in my work as a vicar regularly, ringing the doorbell, and they're trying to live, pretty much. Some panhandlers may be trying to have some money for something other than rent and utilities in unstable housing. They're panhandling for some money for food. In what ways would you say that residents of this community, our immediate neighbors, support the church? I've been the vicar here for 4.5 years and have never seen you at church on a Sunday morning, despite hand-addressed and mass-mailed correspondence about when we gather. There's no record of you contributing financially in our database. You have safety concerns but haven't referenced anything that suggests, beyond feeling spied on, by stuck in a system that has them at the bottom of the heap. The neighbor in the green Subaru is not a safety concern by any measurable data-based metric. We have 4 part-time employees. With all 4's hours combined, there's barely even one full-time equivalent. It is absolutely not worth the effort to lock and unlock a chain every time a staff member or lay volunteer comes and goes. And lay volunteers do the bulk of the work here. We have 12-step groups that use our building and park here. We are happy to be a place that people can park for a few minutes or park to be in the neighborhood, unless you'd like pumpkin patch visitors blocking your driveway on the weekends in October. We will continue to provide hospitality to those who seek and need it. I will ask our neighbors to park so that their lights don't shine in your bedroom. In the name of the loving, life-giving, and liberating God, amen.